Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 296 of FloWrestling Radio Live, brought to you by A6. 296 down, Willie, and we've got new digs. We're in a new spot here. You're in a somewhat new spot, although it's your home. So we are here, ready for another show. We got two Final X's down. Willie, I'm feeling a little rusty. We haven't done this show in like almost 2 weeks now. Maybe it's 2 weeks to the day.
It won't take us long to get back in the grind, though.
No, we'll be back in the groove. It's just us two today. So we got Bracky back in West Virginia, preparing for his nuptials.
Nuptials.
You'll be there, right, Willie?
With bells on.
Do you have you got fitted for
I
your
would
tuxedo?
never miss a chance to go to West Virginia.
Are you fitted for your tuxedo at this point?
Kinda.
You're kind of fitted. There's only there's no wiggle room. You're either,
I gave him my measurements from when I was a senior in high school. No, I'm just kidding. I'm fitted.
You're fitted. Okay, so you're good to go there.
So
we'll be reunited there. And I'll see you this week in Allentown, buddy, because we got one more Final X, and I guess that's a good place to start. We haven't had a FRL since the Final X in Lincoln, so I think we should go back even to that point before we move forward. So I guess thoughts on Lincoln. Really, the match that we were talking about the entire time was Fix, Gilman, and it went down. And Thomas. We did a lot of polls. We talked to a lot of people. A lot of people were super confident that Dayton could get it done there, and just couldn't quite generate his offense enough to take down Gilman, and that ultimately was the difference. What were your thoughts on the match?
Well, I thought he could have got it done, and I think it played out a lot like one of the scenarios that we saw it going. Dayton, a lot of offense, or a lot of movement, a lot of action, a lot of fakes, but he couldn't penetrate that defense of Gilman. And I thought that one thing that was glaringly obvious was Thomas's strength came into play.
Dude, I was, Dayton's powerful and really strong and really talented. And it was especially apparent in that second match when Fix was he basically sprinted the entire second period, attacking. He got in 2, maybe 3 times where his hands were locked, and Gilman just flexed his, just a basic sprawl and popped his grip so easily. It was really, really impressive to me because, Dayton's world class, right? And we know he can finish on really good guys. And for Gilman just to do that simply was, I was thoroughly impressed with that. And we knew Thomas was good defensively, but that was especially impressive.
Well, in Dayton's other matches leading up to it, he showed really good offense, really good escapability on defense, getting out of some takedowns, whether it be like limp legging out or doing crazy defense type things. And Gilman is very, he doesn't take a high volume of shots. So I had to think that Dayton would finish 1 or 2, but he really didn't. And when Gilman would get in that underhook, he did it the first time, like very early, and I'm like, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be, like, you could see whenever they got in the zone, whenever they got near the zone, Gilman kind of owned it.
Yeah. No, I agree. There was still definitely, Gilman's biggest strength is his strength, right? And I thought it was apparent in that match. But a great 2-match series. Would have loved to see it go a third just for the heightened drama. But I thought it was a good game plan from Gilman. He didn't attack a ton, right? He was very calculated with the shot. The one leg attack takedown he did have, there was really no opportunity to scramble there, right? He had both ankles before Dayton could really fight in. And Dayton continued to wrestle. And this was funny. This is something that Gable mentioned when we went to his house, not to do the ultimate name drop there, but he was like, I didn't like that Gilman got that 2 and then he just kind of stopped wrestling, and Fix kept wrestling through that position, and he ended up getting 2 out of the exchange from it. So I thought that was interesting. And also, real quick, in the second match, too, Gilman got in on like a high crotch, and he ended up with his belly completely flat. And this was like a key exchange that ended up in 0 points, but Dayton was diving over and finding the ankles and almost had like a lace from like a reverse position and just couldn't turn him. But it was very obvious that Dayton was like, once he's on my legs, it's attack mode. And that's a new, I mean, we saw it with Tony, and we've seen it a little bit throughout Dayton's career, but he's jumped levels defensively in terms of when guys are on his legs. And I think it's going to be a huge weapon for him moving forward as he tries to make world and Olympic teams down the line.
Yeah, Dayton's young. He's still a junior, and he makes improvements and he makes adjustments. I think we'll see him improve on that and figure it out. And he sort of did figure it out to a degree, in that he knew he wasn't getting through those, right? He knew like he's gonna have to make something. He started actually taking shots from way too far out.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't get in. But, like you're saying about Gable saying Gilman wasn't supremely offensive. I don't know, man. In America at least, we like a lot of offense. Sometimes that's not the recipe to winning. Look, Dayton was supremely active. Zahid was incredibly active. The similarities between Zahid and Dake's match and Fix and Gilman, I think there was a lot. The more active guy didn't win.
Yeah. No, it's true. And, Thomas was talking about his matches with the Japanese wrestler, basically saying, like, I pressed too much and I played right into his game plan. So it's also a credit to Gilman and his evolution as a senior level wrestler. Like, there's got to be, at this level, there's nuance, and you can't just be pedal to the metal like it's, Lezak, right? These guys just have different skill sets altogether. So I thought, you can't do anything but feel good about having a returning silver medalist back on the team again. He had an injury back in January that definitely sidetracked him for a bit, but he's back on the mend, and you've seen the improvement from World Cup to Pan Ams to now. He's on his way back and getting healthier, and now he's got till freaking October because Worlds are all the way back there, so he's got plenty of time to get.
You know what? That's a thing I've been thinking of recently too. Is UWW? Man, I like a lot of stuff they're doing. I like 95% of the changes they're making. But another change they need to make, in my opinion, is they need to have some semblance of regularity with their schedule. You can't. You can't have cadet worlds in late September in 2017 and then early January 2018. I mean, they need some regularity with that. It's all over the place.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It seems like Worlds should be like in the same basic weekend year in, year out. That would be pretty cool. Okay, so that was Gilman Fix. Great match. Burroughs defended his home turf. He took out Aymar in 2 straight. The first match, super competitive. I mean, really seemed like Aymar could stand in there and hang with the physicality, but come match 2, you could see Aymar was wrestling so dang hard that first match that he was tired after that first match. Not like a gassing tired, but just like he used it all, right?
Right.
And I just don't think he had anything left for the second match.
Yeah, we usually credit the NCAA guys, and we usually use this as an example of why NCAA wrestling might not be such a bad thing. Is they're in shape. They're super in shape. It's pretty incredible that a Jordan Burroughs, who's a veteran.
Here's the thing. Burroughs has an all-time. It's not talked about enough because he's so good at so many other things. He's got one of the best gas tanks I've ever seen in my life. Ever.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like it is up there with how much activity he puts into a match and how many points he can score and how good he is late in matches so consistently. At some point when this all slows down and Final X is in the books, I think I want someone to just go through and look at his like second period point differential and how insane it is. I mean, it's out of control how good this guy is late in matches. And we've seen it since 2011. The guy can wrestle supremely hard for 6 minutes. I mean, find a match where he's fatigued, right? Apart from, when he busted his knee up. I mean, the guy is just, close. And, of course, Rio wasn't his best showing, but it wasn't a gas tank issue. I mean, the guy can wrestle hard for 6 minutes. He can do it multiple times. We've seen it against Dake. We saw it against Taylor. Taylor has an all-time good gas tank, can compete for 6 minutes, and he beat him there at the Open a few years back. So I think it's something that Burroughs doesn't get enough credit for, and I thought it was apparent against Imar. And this was not and what was interesting, this is not he's been sitting out all day and Imar went through a challenge tournament. It was an even playing field. They all made weight at the same time, and then they wrestled at the same time, and even still, it didn't matter.
Right. I thought Imar was in there banging. I'm excited to see what he has in the future because he's just getting started.
For sure. He's good. He's gonna be good. And then Snyder. Not much to say about Kyle Snyder. He's the best guy doing it right now. Maybe you could say it's Burroughs is back towards that pound for pound helm, but having won 3 straight, it's tough to go against Snyder. But he takes out Gadsden, and I think the combined score was 19-2 in 2 matches. It's just there's no one touching this guy.
So also at Final X, Lincoln, Jakarta Winchester beat Leathers. Other than that, the girls went as expected. James Green and James Green and Jason Chamberlain. We're all excited for 3 months for Final X, and then Green and Chamberlain came out first match and they didn't do much, right?
It was brutal.
James even
he admitted it. He texted. He's like, "Sorry about that. We're training partners."
Yeah, he tweeted it. Sorry about that. That's kind of what happens. But that was pretty funny.
Yeah, funny but terrible.
I never went back and watched it.
Why would you?
Oh well, right, but because I'll tell you why. Because I was sitting there watching it live, and at one point it dawned on me, what are Bader and Piles saying on the live stream? Because there's nothing really to say. Yeah,
I would love to know. I don't know. I haven't gone back and watched and critiqued that match for myself, but yeah. I don't know. I feel like we found a way. We are so jacked up, and that was the cool thing about, not to jump around, but Final X Penn State is McKenna, Stieber came out, and part of this is just like the Logan Stieber effect. But they were teammates. They're teammates too, but there wasn't any sort of like, there's all this familiarity, and we just know how to stop each other. Wasn't anything like that. The first match was 8-8, and the second match was really exciting as well. So that was an awesome part of Penn State because he had all this energy, and boom, the first match absolutely delivered. And while we're there, I guess we can talk about it. Logan takes out McKenna in 2 straight, and I really, I thought McKenna was going to win this because of how Logan had been looking in day ones of tournaments. He almost lost to Henderson and be close to the weigh-in. And I don't know if it's the weigh-in that was the reason for that, but just for whatever reason, Logan, soon after that scratch weigh-in, had not been as good, but he looked really good against Joey McKenna.
Yeah. There was an awful lot of people, including myself, picking McKenna. I think that, part of it is Stieber's. I mean, sometimes he looks great and beats Haji Aliyev, and sometimes he doesn't look so hot. But I thought we'd see more. I picked McKenna because of savviness. He knows how to win those close freestyle matches, but Logan was savvy in his own right, too.
Well, really, and it ended up being kind of the opposite. McKenna had the lead late. He was up and gave up the late score to Logan to lose the match. So it was really right. And I was kind of with you. I just thought, man, I think McKenna can slow down Logan and keep it manageable. But Logan immediately, he was attacking front headlock, and he puts his hands by it, and it's those fours, him not turning down. The first one, I would like to go back and watch it again to just figure where McKenna thought he was going when he was defending that single leg from Logan. Because Logan went from the hands behind, dropped to the single, and did his textbook head wheel finish. And it looked like Joey was maybe trying to dive roll, but he ended up putting Logan in a great position to get the 4, and he did. And man, anytime you get a 4, and that was ultimately the difference, it was an 8-8 criteria victory. It's really tough to overcome something like that.
Mm-hmm. I was impressed with, even in a losing effort, I was impressed with Joey's leg attacks. Some of them were lightning quick. Not that he didn't have a leg attack before, but I don't know. I think Joey's has a bright future as well.
Yeah, no question about it. And now what will be interesting is, the future of all these weights. I can't wait. The 2019, I think, is going to really be setting the stage for 2020. We're going to see a lot of shifting. I think, everyone's asking about, hey, where the Penn State guys been? Zane's going to make his way back down. I think the reason we didn't see him this year was he was big, didn't think he could get his body to 43.5 the right way, and just didn't want to mess around with it, and didn't want to make a team at 70 and then get big and not be able to come down for 2019.
Yeah, and I understand people asking where Zane has been, or where the Penn State guys have been. And even, I crack jokes about, where Spencer has been, Spencer Lee. But listen, it makes a lot of sense. If you are going to rest, if you're going to take a year to rest, this is the time to do it. And especially those NCAA guys who haven't had the time to adapt their body, who haven't had the time to take active rest or to take a break. When are you going to do that? Are you going to say, if you're Spencer Lee, are you going to go off of surgery into an NCAA season, into freestyle season, and basically not take a break till after 2020? This is the time to do it. And for Zane, he has to come off of the college season, either move up to 70 or shrink his body appropriately down to 65, and not take a break since whenever's the last time he took a break. No, you take it now, because 2019 is so important to make the team, to sit in the finals, to make your body smaller, and to take a rest.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
And my understanding for Penn State is that's their plan. They're taking the summer, getting healthy, resting up, and then from basically the start of next college season on, they're sprinting through 2020. They're doing they're going to be, you're going to see Mark Hall and Chenzo and Bo Nickel and, of course, Zane mix it up. So it's calculated. It stinks kind of for this year to have that much talent just not compete, but Penn State thinking long-term, and you can't really blame them for doing that. So, yeah, and it's similar. I think it's similar for Spencer, too. It's just, like you said, when are you going to rest if not now? And, yeah, it's Gilman's time at 57 anyways, at least for the time being. Although with Dayton and Spencer waiting in the wings, you wonder, is how long can Gilman be at the helm?
Well, you say it stinks that there's all this talent not wrestling, and that's true, right? We want to see all these guys. At the same time, ultimately, it looks like we're having the core of guys that won the world team title last year. So USA Wrestling's going to be okay.
Oh, we're gonna have a really good team for sure. I think, basically everything that we've said for years would happen or would be great if it happened is happening. It's like, man, it stinks to have guys like Taylor and Dake on the bench, and now they're both on teams. And I guess let's go right to that. Dake Valencia, they wrestled 2 matches. There was a lot of excitement about this match. And Dake, you know, he just did some alien-esque things to get the win. I mean, that first chest wrap exchange where he's sitting on his butt and he just squeezes and gets his legs out. It's like, man, I think Zahid probably... And Zahid recovered and reacted well, and he continued to attack, and there weren't that many opportunities for Dake to score. And really, it's a credit to Zahid's defense to me that Kyle didn't really get off many attacks, and sometimes we see Kyle implement a game plan like that. And really, he got to that. I guess I'm trying to think how he got that first two, Willie. You could help me. He ended up rear standing and kind of mat returned him for two. But I don't know if it was like off a re-attack or just a go behind. But really, there wasn't like a straight leg attack takedown, I don't think, for Dake in the two-match series. No,
that was his. If I recall correctly, that was a shot. That was the only one that he got off his own shot. That thing that Dake did with the chest wrap. I mean, he's on his butt, legs forward. I mean, has anybody ever done that before? I don't want to be like sensational, but that might have been the first time in wrestling that has happened.
I don't think it is, but it was definitely like, oh my gosh, how is he getting his legs out here? Now, if he had, like, the thing is, if he had taken that chest wrap and just taken him over with it, that would have been less surprising than him getting his legs out.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he's so dangerous there. I mean, getting in is half the battle. And that was the story of this whole match, this whole series.
Yeah.
Getting in on Kyle Dake is half the battle. And I tell you, I'm watching it, and then it dawned on me, like, this is eerily similar to Taylor Dake. Like, Taylor takes a high volume of shots, most of them low shots, and that's only half the battle versus Dake. And he's so dangerous with chest wrap. In fact, we have a piece coming out on Dake. I don't know when it's coming out, but I was up on a shoot in Ithaca a couple weeks ago, and I asked him, I said, you are so dangerous with your counters and your chest wrap. How tough is it not to just, like, rely on that? You know you're good there, right?
Yeah.
How tough is it to just hang out and wait for them to do that and you score in that way? And, you know, of course, he's like, I want to score in every way possible. And I just, you know, I don't let people get in on me. But if they happen to get in on me, then I'll go to it. And, yeah, I mean, he's scary there.
Yeah, he can say that, but I mean, in that second match, it was, I want to say almost all counters for him. I mean, the deciding points was a Zahid attack, and Zahid went there one time, and it got stalemated, and he went right back there again, and Dake made some subtle adjustments and came around and got two more.
Do you say that's a mistake? Did Zahid make a mistake? Zahid has the match or has the lead late-ish, and Kyle Dake counters for the winning score.
It's so easy to Monday morning quarterback and say, well, no, that shot was a mistake. I mean, yeah, it's inarguable that shot was a mistake, that particular one. Now, does that mean he shouldn't have shot any more? No, not necessarily. But, you know, anytime your head's inside on that guy or what, I mean, you're in his danger zone. And the collar and ankle worked for Zahid. That's how he got the leg attack takedown. And he continued to look for that, but wound up on a single. And, yeah, that's right where Dake's so dangerous. So, yeah, you could say it's a mistake, but it's also, you know, it's Zahid getting to learn, right, and getting a feel for a guy. And it's...
Well, it's also, you know, you dance with who brought you there. And what brought Zahid there, what put him in that position was taking shots, right? Scoring. So it's hard to take your foot off the gas when that's what's.
And you know, if he hangs back, we see it all the time, Willie. It's a really frustrating thing, especially in international wrestling, especially in freestyle. A guy has a lead, and last 20, 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds, they turn it off, and they wrestle dumb. They make a mistake that they would normally not make because they're just wrestling outside of, like, their normal skill set, and they end up screwing up or making a tactical blunder because they're just not being offensive. So you prefer to see guys continue to go after it, and that's what Zahid did, and I credit him. I mean, it was like the wrestling just jumped off the mat to me. Just like how fast and precise and talented those guys were. It was like no other match I saw that whole night. It just looked different from everything else I watched that entire evening.
Well, there was an exchange early second match.
Yes.
That those dudes were moving. There was shot, fake shot, a re-attack. They were moving every freaking direction, and there was no point scored. But, man, you knew that you could see the level of ability. You could see the level of fight in them. I mean, it was just jaw-dropping.
Yeah, and Bader and I said it on the call. It reminded us of the Mark Hall-Zahid exchange that they had at NCAAs. It was so freaking crazy. Just like shot, attack, re-attack. It was an awesome two-match series. Again, I wish it would have been able to go 3 just for the experience of it, right? But Dake gets on the team. Taylor gets on the team. I mean, Nick Renan, I was impressed with Nick Renan's mindset. I mean, he wrestled David Taylor, but when you wrestle David Taylor, it often can go sideways in a hurry, and it did for Nick. He got the first takedown. He hand fought hard. He attacked a lot, and someone as diverse as David, it can get out of. If you're not on his level, you get picked apart pretty quick, and that's what happened with David and Nick Renan. And you know, Renan just getting to that point was a huge credit to him.
I was glad to see Nick fight, you know. It would be easy to go out there and get balled up by David Taylor, but I mean, he went out there looking to score, right? He had a couple opportunities. He was banging with them. That one, you know, it all kind of crumbled not crumbled, but when
he was rear standing.
When Renan had that rear standing, almost side standing, and David pulled the leg, that was kind of it.
That was it. That was a big opportunity. You know, Renan went for it, and Taylor was ready all the way. It was cool to see. I mean, David always wrestled with kind of a joy and energy about him, but he couldn't even like contain his happiness like before the match. Like he was just so. I mean, the crowd was so freaking fired up for him. It was definitely the loudest it got in there when he came out, and you could tell he was just so happy to be out there wrestling in front of that crowd again. And he gave him something to be excited about. Great crowd, great turnout at Penn State.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see you know, the guys win in their home gyms. And, you know, it was James, I think, James Green that did the Go Big Red thing. David Taylor does the We Are thing. It's pretty cool to get to see them do that, and ultimately that's what draws the people is the hometown guys.
So we nearly have our team set, and immediately after Dake makes the team, the discussion becomes, which way does Zahid go next year? Which way does Dake go next year? And I believe Dake is going down 100%. I think he's going to, you know, win a world medal this year, then make his way down to 74 to set him, like we've been saying, to set himself up for 2020. So I think we're going to see Burroughs Dake once again. They'll be teammates this year, but next year I think it's back on, because Dake knows what it means to make the team and potentially medal in 2019, how that could set him up for 2020.
Yeah, sort of unfortunate. You know, it's great that we have as many weights as we do in non-Olympic years, but the way this structure is, like Kyle Dake only has 1 year, right? I mean, because they just came out with 79, and now he wrestles there a year, and now he wants to go down so that it sets him up for 2020. So I just wish, you know, it's not going to happen, but I wish we had more Olympic weights. So, yeah, I agree that Dake will go down. I think Zahid will go up.
Yeah.
Zahid definitely go up.
Here's the thing. The big misconception about Zahid is that he's big. He is not big. He basically he barely cuts any weight for 74. So he's going to have to make a real concerted effort to get up to be 86 kilo guy.
Yeah, I hear that all the time, especially with Penn State fans after they beat Hall this year.
No, Mark Hall is 100% heavier than Zahid Valencia.
And they say, oh, yeah, they're like two different weight classes. No, they're not, guys. But, yeah, he's not making 63.
No way. He's not making 63. But, yeah, so Zahid, I think we'll see him go up. Will he go 84 next year is going to be the question. I think that he will. I think if he's got 2020 on his mind, he's got to start growing his body. And you can't do that making 74 for 6 months. So I think you see him go up. I think that's the most practical decision, even though it's going to be tough for him to get full size. That's a huge, 26-pound jump is so, it's so stupid.
Yeah, it is stupid. And so a lot of decisions being made, right, for 2020 and preparations for 2020, even that affect the NCAA landscape.
Yeah, no question. So, and who knows with Jaden what he's going to do? I think he goes down. I think you have to. If you want to make the Olympic team, I don't think you can go 97. Right? It's not going to happen.
I don't think he can go. I don't think he can go 97. I don't think that's a smart move. But he'll have to start. He'll have to shrink his body considerably because it was not good last time when he made 86. No,
it wasn't. I feel like, to me, it's gonna stink when it's day of, right? And that's gonna be he's going to have to completely after. I'm assuming he's gonna make the team this year. I think he'll medal, and then I think he's got to he has to decide then, and begin to make his way down if he's going down. If he's going up, then okay, that'll be fine.
I think he has to go up, to be honest with you.
No.
Unless
be a mistake.
Well, then you're right. Then he has to start now because he has to change his body.
Yeah.
For a 2-hour weigh-in, a day of weigh-in.
Or he
at
could
86.
Or he could do this if he really wants to see, okay, how do I stack up? 2019, go 97. See where you stack up. In my opinion, he will learn that the days of him competing with Kyle are over. That's my opinion. Could be wrong, but that's what I think would happen. I think he would lose. And, then, okay, 2019, that's not going to work. I got to get down. I got a year to get down to 89.
Yeah, perhaps. Ultimately, I think he goes up.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll certainly see. Okay, so those the tweeners. We got to talk a little Iowa here. The Hawkeyes, Hawks on fire, as Willie was singing earlier.
Hawks on fire.
Strong desire. So Jay Rent, we already had DeSanto, okay? Jay Rent commits to Iowa last week sometime. And then late last night, Patrick Kennedy, the Minnesota Hammer, who has long been linked to Iowa and has been said, even I talked to Coach Eggum at the duel at South Dakota State, and he was like, yeah, it's gonna be really tough to get him from Iowa. It was just basically known. He's probably gonna go there. Shoot, he's not even a junior, already committed, locked in for the Hawks. How big is this for Iowa recruiting, Willie?
It's big. It's big in terms of both actuality, he's gonna pay dividends, and perception because he was a guy high on the big board for their class, and so the perception of they're locking in studs already, it's a no-brainer for a guy like Patrick Kennedy who's ranked so high. And I think he could be a 65-74. There's a little flexibility there. So yeah, it's really big, and they have a lot of pieces in play already. You could almost sketch out a lineup for them for the foreseeable future. The way they're set up. Now Kennedy, he placed 8th Akron, right? Which a lot of people would say, well, that's not how we saw that going. But remember, the weights were 71 kilograms, 80 kilograms. He's not an 80 kilogram guy right now. Especially
he wrestles at 70.
Yeah, but on a day of weigh-in, he's a little bit smaller than that. So he's going to be fine, is my point. He wrestles, a lot of motion, high pace.
His hand fighting's outstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, he beat Trent Hidley this year. It's amazing. He's going to be a really good one. And, with the 33 was the whole last year for Iowa, and they went and they patched it with two guys, really. And I figure my assumption is they'll wrestle DeSanto this year.
Yeah. And
then redshirt J-Rent, and then maybe do a switch if they can do that. I don't know if J-Rent can do it. 33, they swap red shirts, DeSanto red shirts, and J-Rent goes 33. Then Lugo graduates, Murin up, and then one of those slides into 41, assuming that would be Jason Renneria. Now, these are two guys that have already transferred from schools, so, you hope that they can stay on the path and handle the red shirts and make the weight, et cetera. But really, Iowa is set up well for the next couple of years.
Yeah, the most logical thing is that Murin ends up taking 49, right, when Lugo goes.
That's my thought.
But the difficult part is, or maybe it's not difficult, I don't know, but having somebody make 33, because DeSanto has floated the idea of he would like to be 41, and as we know, J-Rent missed weight at 33, so I don't know, either get him under control weight-wise or but that would be the perfect scenario.
To me, they're both 33-pounders.
So I think they're both 33-pounders.
I think J-Rent may be on the bigger side, but to me, he's got the body to be a career 33 if he wanted to, but just going to require, coaches are going to have to work with him and keep him disciplined, but he can certainly do it. I think he'll be fine. And man, they both kind of fit that Hawkeye mold. They're really hard-nosed. DeSanto's wrestles with an unreal pace. J-Rent really good in the hand fight. So I think it's a good fit, and I think Kennedy is a good fit as well.
Yeah. Man, they got their lineup just about set. We all know how good Jacob Warner is going to be, and he's going to be a true freshman this year. So
yeah.
They got their heir apparent at heavyweight. They're pretty much set, man.
It's gonna be an exciting team next year. I can't wait. And then really, it's like I don't see anyone touching Penn State next year. But the year after that, it could be on for Iowa. That could be their real window to get something done and get back on top. That's where I think Penn State's gonna lose Nolf, Nevels, Nickel. That's gonna be painful, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the year that they lose Kemmerer.
Yep.
So, and Stoll.
Kemmerer's gonna be a junior. So no.
Kemmerer's gonna be a junior.
So they'll still have Kemmerer.
Yeah. Yep. So that'll be a team race then.
Yeah, they'll lose Stoll, but they have Cassiope coming in. So wanted to give update here. Arkansas Little Rock. A lot of people have been asking, what's the deal with that? I believe that Neil Arisman is going to get that job ultimately, and I think we'll find out for sure this week, but I think it's his job. I think he's going to be the guy there. We all kind of assumed it would be someone with a cowboy tie, given how that program materialized, and I think they had nothing but good options, in my opinion. So whoever they went with wouldn't have surprised me. But I think it's going to be Neil, and I think it's a really, really solid hire for them. Yeah,
I like Neil. People that know Neil, speak highly of him. Tight with the Coleman Scotts of the world, and his wrestlers like him too. I think it's a perfect hire.
Yep, great hire. We'll see when that comes announced, but I think that's going to be ultimately what happens. Willie, thoughts on? Do you want to go to questions now, or do you want to get to additional thoughts on Final X or what?
Well, we could do Final X unless you want to wait till it's all done.
Let's go.
You want to talk about Final X right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I love the fact that first of all, the first two were awesome. I really enjoyed them. I think it's the proper thing to do to have the finals not on the not after somebody wrestles in a mini tournament. I think if you're going to do it that way, that's the way to do it. It gives time to promote. It's a level playing field. Although I wasn't too hung up on it the other way, but the thing that keeps coming to me, and the feedback that I keep getting, is everybody loves it, with the exception of how many dates there are. And this is coming from the wrestlers, and I mean, this is coming from the coaches mostly, right? Because the wrestlers only have to wrestle one day. The coaches have to prepare guys for different times. They have to travel to multiple places. And so the feedback that I'm getting is, love it. The only thing is, we wish it would be 2 dates or 1 date. And I think 1 date it's a problem.
Insane.
It's problematic because was it going to be 12 hours? So maybe one location on a Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, or maybe 2 different locations, but not 3. 3, to them, it's too much. Now, ultimately, it's the job of USA Wrestling is to determine the best team, is to get the best team. That's their number one priority. And I think this system best accomplishes that. I think it also accomplishes growing the sport better than past formats. So I think it's a win, but the dates might be problematic. How do you feel?
I heard that from like 2 or so coaches. But I think this is the way to go. I mean, it's my personal opinion, but I really love that we can have World Team Trials finals at different locations. But I'm not feeling all the pain of the travel, et cetera. It's easy, so it's easy for me to say, yeah, this is good. So I can't really. I'm not exactly empathizing properly with the plight of other coaches and what they have to go through. But to me, for the athletes, it makes sense. I mean, I just don't understand they have to make weight 3 times in 6 weeks. It's just, that to me is like, so? I mean, you did that in college for, 6 months. You did that.
Especially now that guys aren't pulling that much.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. And if you can't make weight 3 times in 6 weeks, you're at the wrong weight, is how I view it. So I think it's great.
It's only one more weigh-in.
It's one more weigh-in.
And I'll tell you what, another sort of complaint was like, well, what if some years you might have 3 guys in your club at 3 different locations? Probably not, because if you're going to have 3 in Final X, you're probably hosting it.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So. I think that's a great angle too. Is that when you have 3 different locations, it gives the opportunity to move around, and it gives the opportunity to bring wrestling to more places. It gives the opportunity for your program to be recognized if you should have numerous guys in the finals. So I think that's a good thing, not a bad thing. I also think, people are talking about the attendance. The attendance was good, not great. I think a lot of people around the country was taking a wait and see approach anyway. But for the people that say, well, if everybody, the thing I laugh at is people that say, if everybody was in one location, man, I would be there. This is disappointing. If they were in one location, I would have been there.
Wrong.
You acted like there's no precedent. They used to all be in one location, and you didn't go. You didn't go. Why are you acting? Why are you acting like that has never happened before? It happened every year.
Every year.
You weren't there. You weren't there. You're lying.
Yeah. And you know what's it's hilarious to me? It's like, how can we grow the sport? This is like the all-time bad take, and it's kind of like theirs. It's like, you grow the sport, but I can't even see everyone wrestle. I don't even get to watch everyone wrestle. I'm like, in what other sport do you get to watch every single wrestler wrestle at one place? Like, it never happens. Like, the Pro Bowl? Are we talking about the NBA All-Star Game? Like, these it doesn't happen. The NBA Finals has 2 teams. You don't get to watch James Harden in the NBA. That's not how it works. So the idea that, like, I should see every good wrestler in one night, it's like, one, stop lying. You weren't there the last couple of years, okay? Yeah. 2, in what other sport is that the idea? 3, it's expanding opportunity for people to watch it. So I think it's great. It's expanding opportunities for people to come watch it, expanding opportunities for local communities, more communities to, get their community involved and come out to watch it. And I'll tell you who loves it: the women. The women flat out said, I asked at a press conference, "Hey girls, what do you think about the process?" Like, I was a little nervous they would say we hate it, but they did. They said they loved it, and they said, in not so many words, they said that they never got treated like that before. Yeah. Right? There was never the pomp and circumstance around women's wrestling before, and that's a great thing in my opinion. Yeah, I completely agree. All right, let's get to some questions. We've got a few. Thoughts on Miklas going back to Iowa, going to be wrestling for Iowa State. I think it's cool, man. I mean, if you know the circumstances, not that he's transferring from Missouri, that I think that's particularly cool, but his dad is ill and wants to be closer to family, and how could you fault him for that? I think it's awesome. I think Willie is a great wrestler. I think it's a good fit for him at Iowa State. Colbray going down to 84 is really interesting to me, and I think it makes a lot of sense. He's like 40 minutes from home, so this is not, to me, a Missouri thing so much as a Miklas going to back home, which is cool. Yeah, it's a great thing. I like Sammy going down to 84 as well. I always thought he was a little small. Miklas, good for him, getting to wrestle back in his home state. And did he graduate, Christian? Is he going as a grad transfer? I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure he has graduated. So, yeah, pretty cool. On the topic of transfers, this it's going to be close to open season, I think, here soon, in terms of anyone can transfer. They say that the conference rules are still going to apply, but I feel like those are going to go by the wayside as well. I don't think those conference rules are going to apply. I mean, it just didn't happen with Renteria 2 minutes ago. I don't know. I have a theory. I have nothing to base this on other than reading tea leaves. But they are passing around medicals like they're candy. They are allowing transfers like they're candy. My theory is that the revenue sports are saying, we want to be paid. We want to be paid. We want to be paid. This is oppressive, right? And so the NCAA is like, you know what? At least let's let them transfer and do what they want, so they don't complain, right? That's one theory anyway. Yeah. So I think it's cool. Picks for Kuhn versus Gwiz on Saturday. This could be a big one. I'm taking Gwiz in what I think is going to be an entertaining series. I don't know. I think Kuhn is Gwiz is a world medalist. I think Kuhn can win. He's also trying to double dip. That's my thing. This man, Adam Kuhn, he's crazy. He's going to do Greco the day before, fly from Tulsa to Allentown, probably not a direct flight, if I had to guess, although Michigan, they might hook it up and charter him something sweet. That's just like, it's not even the wrestling. If it was in the same building like the U.S. Open, I'd be like, okay, I think he can do it. I mean, he did win the U.S. Open while doubling up in Greco. But like, for whatever reason, like the travel component has me like, man, I just don't see it. Even though I think in a like all things being equal, I would pick Adam to win. But now I'm not sure where I fall. I think I still actually lean Kuhn, perhaps stupidly enough, but
dude,
that's messing with me a little bit.
I was during the Miracle Velti series. Miracle wins the first one, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know what? I sort of assumed Miracle was going to win the second one. So I was like, I was looking up. I'm like, who in America has made a cadet, a junior, and a senior team? I'm like, I know this. I mean, Miracle would be one of them. So I start looking it up, and Kuhn made a cadet world team in both styles same year, a junior world team in both styles same year. Imagine if he does it senior. I mean, that would be insane.
Yeah, it would be. It would be crazy. I mean, to me, he's just so far from Robbie that like, it's. I hate to say it, but I think it's a waste of his time right now, and I think it's a waste of his energy. Right? Like, save that, make a team instead of like setting yourself up. But maybe he just doesn't view that wrestling in both like is going to hurt him in freestyle. But I don't see how it couldn't.
Somebody DM'd me and was like, you know how fans get. They're like, can't Flo do anything to push back his wrestle off or change one of the dates? I'm like, Flo? It's not our fault. But it does kind of beg the question, like, I wonder if it crossed his mind or if he did ask for wrestle off at a later date.
Yeah, Helen's going to get one, but that's because of injury. I don't think they're going to do it for, I don't think they're going to do it like that.
Right.
So, next question. Sorry, I had it here. DJ Jr., who's the next big time hammer to commit to the Hawks? PK, question mark? Yes, Patrick Kennedy. This guy nailed it.
Nailed it.
He must have already known. Has Brian
who would be the next one?
Huh?
Who would be the next one, though?
I have no idea.
Here's the thing. They don't need much. They don't really need anything.
I think they need an 84.
Maybe an 84.
Yeah.
I mean, Wilkie still has 2 more years.
True. So they're not like threat level midnight, but they could use one. No, they're maybe I think like a 57.
Yeah.
Because Kemmer's gone.
Well, it depends. Depends what Nelson weighs. But yeah.
No way. Nelson's going to be like a 65.
Okay.
I think. You think?
I don't think he cut much. I mean, I would guess he walks around a 70 maybe. I don't know.
70 as a 18-year-old doesn't sound like a 57 option.
Right. So yeah, they could use a 57. And the one that gets linked to him most recently is Brevin Balmaceda, the Super 32 champ from Florida. So we'll see.
What you think about that?
It's good.
Okay. Brian Nunziato asks, has going to Iowa become cool again? Was it not cool to go to Iowa?
I don't know, Brian. When I read that, I was like, is that shade or is that serious?
That's
Nunziato he's a cheeky fellow.
Oh. I think it's always been cool. Yeah. So no, I don't think so. I guess we can ask this one. Seems like PSU wrestlers and coaches offer very limited access to Flow Team, unlike Iowa, Okie State, Ohio State. Thoughts? That's accurate.
Yeah, I mean, that's why.
My thought is I wish that weren't the case, but I understand, and it's not what is, I guess, comforting to know is that it's not, and I'm sure it's not, we're not necessarily on Penn State's best side, but it's not unique to just Flow that we don't have access, right? Like, they don't give access to anyone, right? David Taylor has like a personal shooter guy that films his stuff, but like that guy can't shoot the wrestlers. Like RBY, I think I'm telling the story right. Like RBY like wanted his picture taken, and like they wouldn't let him do like us do that in the wrestling room. So like, yeah, they're super protective, but they also are winning at nearly unseen levels. And if they think that that's a part of it, then why would you mess with it? You know, what's to gain? They're already the most popular, most viewed. You know, they don't need the media spotlight, and they don't see the value in it. So, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when people say we're biased. We're biased towards every school, right? People say we love Iowa, we hate Iowa. We're biased for Okie State, we're biased against Okie State. We're biased for Penn State. When they say we're biased for Penn State, I'm like, they don't even let us do anything. How can we be biased for them, right? But that's their prerogative. They want to keep things in-house at all times, and you got to respect it. They're doing great things, and yeah, that's a situation. And there was Penn State people also, fans. Every once in a while, you'll see it on the message board. I don't understand why they do 100 docs on this person or that person or this school or that school, but they never do anything here. Well,
read between the lines there, guy.
Yeah.
You think it's like, should we do something with the most popular fan base and the best team?
Never crossed their mind.
Nah, I don't think so. Yeah, we'd love to.
So
maybe one day. What does the Flow team know about the later wrestle off for Helen? What reasons do you have? I heard more symptoms from the concussion, but not sure how true. I don't know the details. I certainly hope it's not concussion related, because that would be highly concerning. She had a bad one a while back, and anytime you see like repeated, now would this be an additional concussion or just not recovered from the, I don't know, but I don't have any details. When that hit my inbox yesterday, I had no idea that was even being discussed.
Neither did I. Neither did I. So, and yeah, when's it going to happen? She trains in New York, which is right down the road. It's an hour and a half from Lehigh. It has to be relatively serious, right? I mean, because what's going to happen? They just announced Dayton Fix is going to wrestle off at Fargo. I'm sure she wasn't looking forward to going to Fargo to wrestle off.
No, I wonder if. That's like a month additional, right? Something like that. It's not a ton of extra time, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that'll be ample recovery time for her. I don't know. Okay, additional questions. Any spots you wished you could have hit during the road trip? Yeah. I would have loved to. Well, one, we were going to go to Spikeball headquarters. We had it all set up, and for good reason we weren't able to go. Bader is got to do an interview with Mike DeRoe, legendary coach at Cornell College, and then for the Hawkeye Wrestling Club, and he's been on coaching USA teams for years and years. Just one of the most respected guys in the sport, and he, battling cancer right now. And so we were going to do it in the evening, and Coach DeRoe wasn't feeling well, so we did it in the morning. It kind of backed some things up, and who cares, right, for that opportunity, and Bader getting to go and do that, and us seeing Coach DeRoe again was awesome. So it would have been cool to do that, but getting to do that with Coach DeRoe is a lot more special and valuable. So glad we got to do that. We drove through Chicago. We're right by it from Wisconsin to Columbus. Would have loved to hit up, Northwestern and those teams there. We drove through Indiana. We went by Purdue. Would have been cool to see those guys in Indiana. I mean, there's a lot, right? I mean, there's so many freaking schools along the way. It's like, David Marble is on Twitter complaining that we didn't go to Bucknell. It's like, there's one van. We're going somewhere every single day. Like, do the math, Marble. How many schools did we not go to? I get, yeah, we were near Bucknell. We were near a lot of places, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry we didn't go to every Division I school possible, but we're trying to make the most of this trip, and I guess some people are always going to complain regardless. We'd love to go to Bucknell. They've got a great facility there. It's nothing. No one's anti-Bucknell. Just didn't work out. So no, those are the places. Willie didn't even go. The bum.
I didn't go. I'm trying to settle in here in Pennsylvania. Also,
give me a break.
Also,
settle in. You live there.
You guys were.
What are you settling in? What are you settling right now?
Man, I still ain't settled. You know how many trips I've been on since I got here? Was I home a month? I went to Akron, Cornell, Lincoln, yada, yada, yada. You got the last thing I needed is to live out of a suitcase in a van. I mean, listen, I stayed one night in State College.
Oh, my gosh.
Nomad steals the couch. Guys are up till 2 in the morning. I wake up. Nomad's sleeping under the kitchen table. He's sleeping under the kitchen. I'll tell you why he's sleeping under the kitchen table. This is Nomad's lunacy. This is how Nomad operates. Nomad, what are you sleeping on the kitchen table for? It gets bright too early in Pennsylvania. The sun comes out at 5:30 a.m. So you sleep under the table? Yeah, it blocks the light. It's not even blocked.
Well, that's not even the whole story, because it begs the question, why aren't you sleeping on your bed? He has a bed in this Airbnb. He has a bed. My stuff's on it. What, did you spill a tub of barbecue sauce in there that you can't clean up? Just throw your clothes off of it and then just lay down there and you'll be completely fine.
Yeah.
But in his
Do you not
mind,
know how this works?
In his mind, it was too much trouble to go upstairs.
What if you rent a hotel room? You rent a hotel room, you put your suitcase on the bed, and then what? Go sleep on a park bench? What do you... Take your stuff off of it.
So he goes from, well, I can't sleep on my bed because I have items on it, so I'll go sleep on the couch with Willie for a little bit. Then I'll sleep under a table. A kitchen table. Just to avoid the sun.
He needs a life coach.
Yeah, he needs a life coach. It ain't me, though. I'd be too frustrated with him.
Oh, I ain't doing it.
So, no, that was... No, man, the trip was so awesome, and I want to wait till the boys are all back and to really tell all the stories and all that stuff, because it was
one thing for sure, trip of the lifetime for Caleb, huh?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, it was so freak. I mean, I was a little nervous to bring him, just because. I mean.
Locker room talk?
Locker room talk. Basically only that. Like, the guys are awesome. I mean, so it was Bader, Spey, Nomad, me, Joe Kania, Kyle Brackey, Nick Velikat. They're awesome guys, but they're grown men, they're adults, and they're a little different from me, and they don't have kids or anything other than Bader. And so, it was like, all right, I'm kind of rolling the dice here. I lived a rather sheltered life as a kid, and I'm trying to protect my son. But I was like, man, forget it. Who cares? Like, I should be able to teach him, how to live and be, and he understands what appropriate language is, because the lessons he got from this and the experience more than anything was so freaking cool. I mean. These names, not only were the wrestlers just so, he got to meet all these guys. It wasn't just like a handshake and a picture. It's like, these guys were so awesome to Caleb. I mean, it was, and I'll go through the list of just all the people that he got to meet and was so excited and fired up and really took time with him. Jordan Burroughs, James Green, Dayton Fix, Gilman, Derek Fix was awesome with him, the Perry brothers. Snyder and Brian Snyder and Eric Montoya, just kind of unprompted. He wore his wrestling shoes basically the entire trip. They were just showing him stuff, right? And he started in March. He's obviously not very good at it, barely even knows but a few moves, and they're working with him just out of the goodness of their heart. You know, we went to Iowa, and Alex Marinelli and Alex Meyer are like working with him on a dummy and like sparring around with him. I'm like, man, he is getting these amazing experiences. He got to go to Dan Gable's house, right, and get shown around his medals, and meet John Smith and Tom Brands, who was one guy he was really fired up to meet. He's at Penn State with my parents, and Yanni comes up to him, who he's never met, and like gives him a pound. It was like, man, I can't believe.
Mark Hall said, "Oh yeah, I know you from Twitter."
Yeah, Mark Hall said that. You know, we go to Wisconsin, and you know that was probably my favorite leg of the road trip, going up there with Bowen and Rear. We got to do so much there, and we'll talk about the Barry Alvarez stuff. But you know, we leave Caleb and Reeder. They have camp going on, and Reeder takes him to camp, and Bono takes us on a tour, and you know, Caleb gets to go to a wrestling camp, and Kayla Miracle and Forrest Molinari are like hanging out with him and working with him on the ropes and stuff. And it was just like, man, he was so fired up and excited about it, and it kind of reminded me. And he said this, and it's funny because it's not really a logical thing to say, but he's like, I want to be the best wrestler in the world. And you know, it's like, okay, and you don't obviously like crush his dreams or talk to him about genetics or anything like that, but it's like, I was excited that he was so fired up for wrestling, because I just went on this 10-day road trip through wrestling country and met, and he got to meet all these amazing wrestlers, right? And it's like, these are, and it reminded me why I love wrestling so much. It's like the people around it are so freaking special and incredible, and the way they treated him, it's like, man, I'm so excited that he got to go on this trip and meet these people, and that he's seeing like how the best in the world represent themselves and how they treat people, and that he would want to be a wrestler and be around the sport is like the coolest thing to me. And I've never wished for him to be some amazing, accomplished wrestler, and that will be his decision to make ultimately. But the fact that he wants to be around the sport and what that can mean for his life is what I was so excited about. And you know, he made a friend with Joe Russell's son, Taft. You know, they're buddies immediately. The Russell family takes him swimming. It was the coolest thing for him at that time. You know, David Taylor coming up and saying hey to him. Cale Sanderson talking to him. You know, Cale and I don't really talk that much, but Cale was so cool with Caleb, and you know, Pendleton and Askren and Esposito, and it was a really, really cool trip. And for me, I left very thankful, and that I get to do this job and get to expose him to these kind of things, because it was just freaking awesome.
Yeah, and you know, you have never pushed wrestling on him.
No.
Although, you know, you put it in front of him often.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're watching it on your laptop, or you know, we're watching a duel together or something, and so it was one thing for me. I knew he's going to meet all these people, but seeing him like become so passionate about the sport was the one thing that got me. That was like got me jazzed up. It's like he loves it, right?
It was cool.
He loves just kind of organically.
It was great. Jaggers, Travell, they were great with him too. I mean, it was just awesome trip. I mean, there's so. I mean, I wish I tried to keep a log of everyone he met and got to talk to and stuff like that, but it got tough. But I think that's close to everyone. You just look at the accolades of these guys. It's crazy how much success he was around, and I don't know. It was just awesome. I was really, really fired up, even though it was a long time for him to be away from his mom, and he was a champ the whole time. So hey, unless you got anything else, we could probably depart here, young Willie.
Nope, I'm good. Rankings, the most difficult rankings of the year are the ones where you remove the seniors and you put in, you know, this is high school I'm talking about, and you redo them. I finally got them done last night. like 2:30 in the morning. I finished them. So just a little tightening up. They'll be posted either. We'll run them tomorrow morning. So I'll be looking for them.
We will be looking for them. Any big boards or prospect or anything like that coming up anytime soon?
I think I'm going to do the sophomores relatively soon. I'm looking forward to doing the sophomore and freshman. I'll tell you, the freshman class is awesome.
Is it?
Yeah, the freshman class, and the number of freshmen that are ranked, like basically they're in 8th grade right now.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones.
That's crazy.
There's so many good ones. I don't think it's possible that I've ever ranked this many freshmen.
Wow.
This early. So, it's always cyclical. I think the depth of the past couple classes has been a little down, but the class in 2020 and 2021 is good. Really good.
Awesome. Well, we'll be back Thursday. Can you commit to Thursday, Willie Saylor?
Sure thing.
Okay, we'll be back Thursday. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Hey, when are you flying in here, though?
Friday.
Okay, cool.
I'm not coming Friday. I won't be there for the press conference or anything, but I'll be there for showtime. Don't you worry. You take care of the boys. We'll be back Thursday, episode 297. Thank you to ASICS for your sponsorship of FloWrestling Radio. I thank you for listening. Stay tuned to Flow, and we'll see you next time. See you guys.